Senior officials from as many as 40 countries will head to Saudi Arabia this weekend for talks on finding a peaceful settlement to the war in Ukraine, and a special representative from the Chinese government will be among those attending.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky anticipates the initiative would lead to a summit based on his 10-point formula for a settlement. Dr. Yuriy is the advisor to the Minister of Defence of Ukraine, and he hopes for a pathway to peace for Ukraine. Dr. Yuriy, welcome to Breakfast.
Good afternoon.
Saudi Arabia are hosting these peace talks. What do you hope will come of those?
Well, we hope that the result of these peace talks will be more countries getting behind the Ukrainian peace initiative, the Ukrainian formula of peace, which consists of 10 very clearly defined points, and more than 40 countries in Saudi Arabia when they meet tomorrow and on Sunday. We hope that they will share the responsibility for the implementation of the Ukrainian peace formula.
Yeah, interestingly, Yuriy, Brazil, India and China will attend. Russia is reportedly not. What is the significance of that, particularly with China taking a seat at the table, if reports are correct?
Kath, this war is affecting not just Ukraine, and it's affecting not just Europe. As we have seen, for example, from the recent attacks by the terrorist state Russia on the ports of Ukraine in Odessa, Ismail, and other cities, this creates a global food crisis. This is threatening to starve the world. So everybody understands that, these types of events, they are a threat to global security. This is why it is important to have countries such as China, Brazil, and all other big players on the global south to participate in these peace talks.
You mentioned the damage there to the ports in Odessa and Ismail. If I can start with Ismail, just how damaged is that infrastructure there? Because that is now the main alternative route since that Black Sea deal failed.
Just the 2 nights before, when Ismail was struck, one strike destroyed over 40,000 tons of grain that was supposed to be shipped to different countries in Middle East, Africa. And of course, the damage is very, very serious, but our emergency services and our authorities are doing everything we can to restore these capacities as soon as possible, because we understand that, we have a responsibility to feed the world. So we'll do our best to ensure that that happens.
Odessa, as you mentioned, has also been targeted extensively throughout this offensive. What is the latest there? Is it still being used?
Odessa is recovering. Of course, the damage that was done to the port infrastructure was also very serious. But look, we have been facing this terrorist state, Russia, for more than a year and a half now. So we are learning how to recover quick, get up on our feet and continue. We will do everything possible and impossible to ensure that the world gets our grain, whether through Odessa, Ismail, or through land bridges. We will make sure that this happens.
Just how significant and important is drone warfare becoming in this conflict?
The drone warfare, Kath, is becoming very important on both sides. We were first to use the drone warfare very efficiently with the Bayraktars at the beginning of the war, destroying huge columns of Russian equipment. But I must say that Russians are catching up, and this is why we say that they're weaponizing time. And this is why we're asking our partners to continue to provide us with the military support without delay, because Russians are learning, they're learning how to use drones, they are making drones. We have just reports which are confirmed by now that Russians will be actually producing the Iranian drones at home in Russia. And just so that you understand the scale of the problem, in the last year and a half, since the beginning of the large-scale invasion, Russia has launched at Ukraine more than 2,000 Iranian drones. Of course, we are shooting down most of them. But look, when a Shahed drone falls, it still is a bomb. So it explodes on impact, and it damages cities and civilian blocks of apartments. So it's a big issue for both sides, and we are actually investing a lot of time and effort into creating anti-drone electronic warfare equipment and jamming equipment and other gadgets, if you like, military technology that will help us deal with that issue.
Yuriy, are you noticing a difference at all post-Wagner?
Not really. Wagner, the terrorist group, They have been trying to capture the city of Bakhmut for 10 months, and they have failed miserably. They have actually lost tens of thousands of their soldiers there. Then there was this fake mutiny, which nobody still understands what that exactly was. They've relocated now apparently to Belarus, but this is all muscle flexing, and Wagner's presence on the front line has not been noticed. It is still a very fierce war on the front lines, but Wagner's relocation has not had any significant impact.
And that was Dr. Yuriy speaking to us a little bit earlier.